There are some new products coming out for custom lighting. One is from Alumisthetic and one is from a brand new company. But first, let's talk about this Alumisthetic product. Alumisthetic is best known for their custom LED boards. These are completely DIY. You purchase them, the LEDs and everything are separate, so you build it yourself. It's a lot of work, but it's a cheaper way to build yourself some custom taillights. In recent years, they've had an entire engineering side where they've created other companies that do 3D scans of cars, and they are able to work with several different companies and come up with new products. And they brought that back to the original, back home to taillights. So what they've done, they've opened and scanned the inside of a Toyota Supra tail light. They took out the inner housing and scanned it, and as you can see, these actually have the mounting points, the OEM mounting points for the inside of a Supra taillight. And with a little bit of CAD work, they're able to create custom designs inside of it and some 3D printing and laser cutting later. We have a completely new custom inner housing. But that's not all. They have also gotten into custom LED work. Now, this is obviously a custom PCB board with the LEDs completely placed where they should be. It's also got the Supra connector on there. Today, I'm gonna try and figure out how to build it, which it should be much more simple than building the full-on custom LED boards over there. Full disclosure, I haven't built these. I have not used these yet, so this is really a first look and unboxing, if you will, of this exact kit. It's still new, so the product line could be tweaked here and there as they work out all of the bugs and get it sent out to customers and see how they like the product as well. But this is what it has come with in the box this time around. Obviously, the housing itself that is going to replace the OEM housing. These are the acrylic inserts that go inside there, and the custom PCB board that is going to get installed in between this piece and that piece. Goes without saying, but it does come with both sides. Before I go too far into assembling this, which I think is going to be very simple, I would like to go ahead and open up an OEM taillight and test out the connector and make sure that this is lighting up before I mess with any of this. I have these back inside the shop because they broke in shipping. You see that lens crack right there? So unfortunately, these smoked lenses need to be replaced, which actually works out fine because the customer wanted clear, and at the moment he ordered, clears were out of stock. But now that they've come back, clears are in stock again. So he's gonna get clear lenses, and I get to repair the cracked lens on there. He's gonna get a nice fresh set. But that also means that we have a tester light. Step one, let's open this thing up. The most annoying thing about these Supra taillights is the screw type that they used. From afar, it looks like it torques, but look closer. Actually look at it. That's a 5-star screw. It's not 6-star, it's 5-star. Not that big of a deal. Like, you can buy the 5-star screwdrivers, but they're very uncommon. If I buy this, I'm only ever gonna use them on this light. So we're just gonna use a pocket screwdriver. It'll sit in 2 teeth of the screw, and we'll take it out like that. It's a terrible system, but that's how we're gonna have to do it. Which is exactly why I have this custom handled screwdriver. It is shaved off enough to fit inside of a drill, and then we can zip the screws off that way. This connector right here is what we need. We're gonna slide this right off of there. Of course, Toyota had to use all the same colors in here. They couldn't make it easy for us. So we will have to just do a little bit of trial and error to see which way this is supposed to plug in. I would assume that it plugs in like that because that's the easiest way it would plug in. But it could plug in like this. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna plug it in like this at first, and then we will test it by probing the back of the connector. Okay, so the ground on this connector is actually in the middle, so this is not designed to plug right into it. All we're gonna do is solder a couple of wires to right here and then plug it in to the back of this housing and test it out that way. There we go. Real quick and easy there. All right, so now we can do a proper test. I've got it wired up here. I don't have the actual back housing fully on there. This is just so that we can test everything out and see what it looks like. There we go, that's turn signal. It is going the wrong direction, but that's okay. I think that's parking light. Here's brake light. Okay, we are going to do some slight modification to this back housing in order to run the wires right here through to the back, because at the moment, if I put this on here, they're gonna be sandwiched and you're gonna be able to see them from the front. So what I would like to do is to trim the housing on the other side of this hole right here. So right inside here, so that the wires will be able to just go right through there. Okay, now let's set this in place and see if you can see the wires. Nope, that is super clean, really clean install there. Everything seems, nothing seems to be pinched, so that is going to be perfect. Now, before we obviously put it all the way back in, we have to put the acrylic pieces in. So to install these, I am going to use what's called weld-on. So what we need to do is get the acrylic heart in place. Now to get it to hold in place, I'm probably gonna put some tape on the front so it flattens out. Okay, there we go. So the acrylic heart is going to be flush with the very front of the housing. With this tape, it's holding it right there. This is the bottle that it comes with, and it has a very, very thin little syringe looking thing on the end of it. You're just gonna tip this over into the heart, exactly where it needs to sit, and it should cure up right there. Just, there we go. That did take a few minutes, probably like 2 to 5 minutes to finally get that set. I went ahead and put it all around, but it is an acrylic cement, and it kind of melts the white acrylic with the black acrylic, kind of melts it all together and makes it one. So we're gonna do that with the rest of them, and then we can assemble this whole thing. There we go, we got all of those acrylic pieces installed. Let's go ahead and put our LED board back in place here. Next is the taillight housing. Okay, now the craziest part to me is that we're gonna be able to bolt this up like we normally would. So let's grab our screws and bolt this thing up. There we go, and we could probably, pick up that whole thing. So it's bolted from the back, just like the OEM housing. It's wired up. We've got our acrylic pieces in, and the LEDs have been installed. The custom LED board has been installed. We got to see this with the lens on, so we're gonna do some of the quick drying spray and see what this is gonna look like. There we go, fully installed with the LEDs, and it's wired up. It took me about an hour to just kind of mess with it and get it figured out. That was the very first time I've messed with it, so you can imagine after you've done 1 or 2 sets of these that you can get really, really quick with it. And I think that is exactly what Illumisthetic is going for. To retrofit these is several hours, but to retrofit these is just a few hours, if that, after you've done them a couple of times. This right here is something I wanted to talk about very briefly because I'm still messing with it. I'm still learning about it. The quality on this is insane. This is a brand new RGB controller. This is a brand new RGB addressable LED controller that has tons of different automotive options, but the main thing that this was designed for is to control thousands of LEDs. You're using this module if you're building a car that has every single type of addressable LED you can think of. We're talking headlights, grille, hood, engine, underglow, tail lights, starry light, dash, everything. This one controller can do all of that. It is called Glowcraft, and it is designed from the company called Current Electric Labs, or also known as Current LA. Still very new, so we're still doing all the testing and still doing all the programming. I have a crazy idea to really test this, but it actually won't be for a car itself. It will most likely be for this garage. Garage desperately needs another update because my grid ceiling did not quite work out the way I wanted it to, so it's time to upgrade, and this has come out at the exact perfect time. The best thing about this specific design is that there are endless possibilities with this. Just like with the other Illumisthetic kits, we can have it designed however the customer wants. I think coming up with some insane designs would be really, really fun. Like maybe even having it light up across the top here with another strip down below or something like that would be really interesting. Definitely plan on having other makes and models designed so that we can have an entire range of these out there. Maybe starting with like the NC or something. The NC desperately needs something out there. I've had a little bit of interest in those, and there are several years that they made those cars, so I think that would be a good one to start with. Y'all let me know, what vehicle would you want something like this made for? Maybe I can purchase the light, ship it out to Illumisthetic, and build it just so we can see what we can come up with.